There's a great chance that the 2024 election could come down to a battleground state like Wisconsin. And, knowing what we do about the attempt to overturn votes in the last election, this court in Wisconsin could very well be the one that decides whose votes matter in Wisconsin in 2024, either everyone's votes or just conservatives' votes. So that has an incredible implication on our entire democracy. Abortion-wise, right? We know that the state of Wisconsin has an old ban on the books. And again, this court is the one that's going to make the decision about whether or not that's enforceable or whether or not that goes into effect.
So we've got this, it was happening in Wisconsin, but we talk about the national implications. And this week you have Idaho, who became the first state to pass a law making it illegal for minors to travel out of the state to receive an abortion without parental consent. Now, Angela, do you think this is something that can be successfully enforced?
A lot of us didn't really understand exactly how far the extremists in the Republican Party and the anti-choice movement were willing to go. SB8 in Texas showed us there's no bridge too far. So yes, I think we can't pretend any longer that any of these abhorrent laws that are being proposed aren't possibly going to go into effect. In Idaho, attempting to keep people from leaving the state. In South Carolina, they're bandying about the idea of criminalizing people who have abortions to the point where they would be eligible for the death penalty. So, the story in America right now is that, this is absolutely the worst case scenario post-Roe.
Wisconsin is one of 13 states to completely ban abortion. Again, why the Supreme Court race there has a spotlight on it. Dr. Moore, you are actually in Georgia, and in Georgia, it bans the abortion procedure after 6 weeks. I would note that that's before most women even know that they are pregnant. And then Florida also is trying to enact a 6-week ban as well. Can you just talk to us from the healthcare perspective about how these abortion bans have complicated care for your patients?
Absolutely, Simone. Thank you so much for having me here today to speak to this critical topic. So essentially, we are not able to provide the most critical health care to populations that are of birthing or reproductive age. It limits our ability to practice to our fullest scope. It limits our ability to provide equity and equitable health care for birthing populations. Abortion care is essential health care, is an essential part of reproductive health care. So it's given us many challenges from both a healthcare provider perspective, as well as supporting our patients and helping our patients navigate this new landscape post Roe versus Wade. So lots of limitations on what we can do as healthcare providers in providing equitable health care, which includes abortion care.
We have been keeping an eye on the mifepristone case in Texas, and the case for folks watching, that is a case that could essentially ban medication abortion across the country. What would be the impact that banning that medication could have? And then if you could also speak to the fact that mifepristone is one, there's mifepristol, and the procedure, frankly, in some places to address an ectopic pregnancy, right, is the same procedure in some cases that is an abortion. So does that also complicate care for folks?
Oh, absolutely. Banning mifepristone really will place our patients at risk for negative and adverse health outcomes. Mifepristone, along with misoprostol, are two drug regimens that have been used for many years to provide safe medication abortions to patients. And if this medication is banned, our patients will lack access to quality medication needed for abortion care.
Angela, we don't yet know what the judge in Texas is going to do. We don't know how the race on Tuesday in Wisconsin is going to shake out. What is your message to women across the country who are Democrat, Republican, Independent, might not even be registered in a political party, but they are concerned about just the state of their ability to make decisions about their own bodies?
I would tell them right now, today, this is not a drill. Right now, access to abortion care is at risk in every state in the country. This case in Texas, if it bans medication abortion care, this will impact you in California, in Michigan, in New York, in all of the states that have enacted protections. You will lose access. But there's obviously things that we can do. If you live in Wisconsin, make it a priority to vote, get to the polls, drag your friends to the polls. We always say that elections are important and elections have consequences. Right now, we are all feeling the consequences of decades of elections. We can start clawing back some of our rights right now by getting to the polls on Tuesday in Wisconsin.